than not for the last half a century. We have a lot of people who sympathize with us in Europe itself. And I can tell you that there are lots of, if you go into any web page or Facebook or blog in Cuba, there are lots of people expressing outrage and support for us for this thing. Not so much from governments, which is not a European government, which is also something that doesn't surprise us much. Even if they understand, they would not take a position against the U.S., I think most of the time. Even in something that is as clear as water, even something that is condemnable by law in their own countries and international organizations. But there is a lot of NGOs, people, personalities who have conveyed to us favorable opinions on the one hand and objections on the other. Well, about the first question, the program itself, Zunzunio, which is the code name, was stopped allegedly for lack of funds. God knows if that's the reason. I wouldn't be so certain, because other programs, as I said before, and I can read to you, Pyramidio, Commotion, Cuba Uncensored, Diary of Cuba, Marti News, Speak Without Fear, Cuba is already in the Twitter. These are programs that are right now going on with the same purpose. So it makes no difference what name, whether Zunzuneo or Cuba already tweeting, but they are going on because the ultimate goal is, it's very interesting. You see this circular 18- thing, -0 or something, because everything is laid out there. The paragraph I read, I will not repeat, just the last word. I'm breaking down to break down its cohesion and effectiveness of the enemy governments, to distance the government from its population, undermining the power of a government by disclosing that it is unable to govern effectively. Look how many things are going on in the world like this in the last 3 or 5 years, including Libya, where I was and lived these things by myself. Nobody told me from beginning to end. Using the support of a coalition or a third country partner to weaken and subtract legitimacy to that government, to segment the population and generate discontent, to influence or create leaders and unify them ideologically, using migrants, catalyzing events, and creating favorable conditions for intervention through the use of propaganda, demonstrations, boycott, sabotage, even in the absence of declared hostilities, all in order to obtain concessions and, having degraded its capacity, facilitate popular uprising that overthrow the government in question. So this is, Cuba has suffered from 1959, that is 55 years now, aggressions of all sorts. Military aggressions, and I specify
ผู้หญิงเราน่ะกลัวอะไรมากที่สุดเธอรู้ไหม กลัวหน้าไม่สวยเป็นกะฝ้าสิวผิวไม่เนียนใสนะสิคะ
ถูกต้องกลัวหน้าอกไม่อึมช่องคลอดไม่กระชับมีกลิ่นเวลาร่วมเพศด้วยเธอ
ถูกต้องกลัวปวดท้องประจำเดือนคันในช่องคลอดฤดูขาวไม่กินเหมือนข้าวถูกต้องส่วนฉันนะก็กลัวนอนไม่ฟิกกระชับแถมยังกลัวเจ็บเมื่อมีเพศสัมพันธ์และสิ่งนี้ที่ฉันกลัวที่สุดเลยนะเธอกลัวสามีไปมีเมียน้อยถูกต้องที่สุด
ผู้หญิงอยากอยู่สวยนะคะสวยเลือกได้ค่ะเลือก B1
อยากสุขภาพดีสวยรวยเด้งเหมือนดิฉันต้อง B1 นะคะสินค้าดีมีรายได้มีซื้อช่วยต้องนิวเคซีไล่ค่ะ
อัสสลามุอะลัยกุมวะเราะมะตุลลอฮ์ตะอาลาบะเราะกาตุฮ์ B1 เป็นตัวสำคัญสำหรับผู้หญิงนะคะเกี่ยวกับมดลูกค่ะคนที่ว่ามีลูกแล้วอาจจะหย่อนคล้อยถ้าทาน B1 ที่จะดีขึ้นนะคะนิวเคซีไลท์มั่นคงและแน่นอนเยี่ยมค่ะทั้งสวยทั้งดีค่ะหุ่นดีเฟิร์มค่ะโดยจุดนี้จ้านี่คะ
เจอสินค้าดีนะคะแล้วก็เจอแผนการตลาดที่ดีแล้วก็เจอผู้คนที่เราทำงานร่วมกันเป็นทีมก็ดีทั้งหมดเลยค่ะที่สำคัญทานแล้วเรามีรายได้เพิ่มขึ้นค่ะ
เลือก B1 เพิ่มความมั่นใจทั้งภายนอกและภายในให้คุณสิคะสนใจเป็นตัวแทนจำหน่ายโทร 0856683347 0840999347
ชอบไหมภรรยาหุ่นอ้วนๆแบบนี้
ไม่อ่ะ
แล้วหุ่นตุ้ยนุ้ยแบบนี้ล่ะ
ไม่
หุ่นสวยเป๊ะแซ่บเวอร์แบบนี้เป็นไง
ใช่เลยโดนแบบนี้โดนแล้วนายอ่ะ
อยากมีหุ่นดีหุ่นเพียวนะคะเลือกซิลวี่ค่ะ
ทำธุรกิจตรงนี้มีสื่อให้ท่านรองรับด้วยแล้วก็มีรายได้ทำให้มีรายได้ในครอบครัวท่านเป็นรายได้เสริมคนทำงานประจำไม่ต้องลาออกนะคะทำรายได้เสริมของงานเครือข่ายอยู่บ้านนอนอยู่บ้านก็มีรายได้
นิวเคซีไลท์ไม่ต้องเก่งไม่ต้องรวยก็ทำได้ครับนิวเคซีไลท์แผนการตลาดสั้นง่ายได้ไวสม่ำเสมอนิวเคซีไลท์ใส่ใจในตัวคุณ
ซินวี่สิคะแค่วันละ2 แคปซูลก่อนนอนอาทิตย์แรกเนี่ยก็เริ่มรู้แล้วสนใจโทร 0856668347 0840999347
Economic embargo, you know it very well. It's been there. Political isolation that has been essayed against Cuba. Propaganda, media campaigns still going on. Even cultural events, financial terrorism. The sabotage, the Cuban plane that was brought down in Barbados in 1978, a civilian Cuban Airlines plane, not a military plane. The people who did it, Posada Carriles, is walking in the streets of Miami today, and nothing has happened. Epidemics, human and animal, that has been purposely introduced in the country, again plants also. Attempts to assassinate our leaders. All that is known. So the use of the IT platforms is a new method that, as you see, I forgot, there was a high-level official from the White House who wrote in August 2011 about this circular 1801. The new strategy of the United States is more effective and less costly. Sorry, I was reading from the Spanish text. Bush's administration, that is his strategy, considered occupation, that is favored occupation. Obama's, it says Osama, sorry, in the text that you've been given, it's not Osama, it's Obama, is more of a national liberation through the development of a national movement. The strategy of the military intervention in Libya could also be applied in other cases. That is, it doesn't matter if Sun Tzu stopped, but we have others. Now, your second question. I think there are different types of relations in the continent with the U.S. And I really wouldn't like to go into the details of what each government should or could do. But on the basis of your question, what I would say is that as Snowden has familiarized us with all sorts of things in the document the statement you have received, there are a few at the last paragraph, a few technological developments that allow the U.S. and probably nobody else to listen and read in real time what you are chatting with somebody else. Not to storage, that is old technology. Storage and classify. No, it's in real time. So that's what I could say to your question in order not to raise the sensitivities of the government where I am or others in the region. The United Nations resolutions for 20 years now do not have a material effect, but they do have a political effect. I think even in the U.S., because in the United Nations boundaries or the framework of United Nations, it is a bad practice for any country, big or small, to remain isolated on any issue. And on the Cuban resolution demanding a lift on the embargo, as you rightly said, there is only Israel accompanying the U.S., which makes a lot of political embarrassment for them. And it's the resolution that receives the highest number of votes in any resolution in the United Nations. There is no of so far. This is the resolution in which most countries vote of any other one that is presented on the floor of the General Assembly. I don't see any scope for Cuba. Is not a big power. It has a lot of moral support, political support from around the world, especially the developing world. But we are not a big power that can take action on the basis of UN resolutions. And in any case, even if we had that power, I don't think we would invade the United States to get them lift the embargo on Cuba. We do work bilaterally with other governments and peoples to understand that this blockade, which is not just economic or financial or trade, is all around. Even if Obama has relaxed a little bit the remittances to Cuba, cultural exchanges, but still he has heightened the financial confiscation of Cuba's money. And we do have exchanges with people and government to raise awareness about the unjustification and the genocidal, because if you say it's against the government, well, it's a bunch of 30 or 40 people. But when you do not allow Cuba to trade fairly with anybody, and we do, of course, but we have to pay a higher price, and we have to